Today we're going to talk about something that people generally do not like to talk about. We're going to talk about wills. But more specifically, we're going to talk about the dangers of having an outdated or homemade will. Uh, Over the course of my real estate practice, many times I've sold estate sales for folks where someone in the family has passed on and I've been contacted to help sell the property. And on more than one occasion, we've run into problems because the person who passed on either had an outdated will or a homemade will. So let's talk about the problems with those type of wills. First off, let's start with an outdated will. If you haven't had your will updated in the last few years, there's several problems you could encounter. Number one, your assets or beneficiaries no longer reflect current reality. Over time, assets change, homes get sold, bank accounts, investment accounts are opened, family dynamics involve. An outdated will might reference property that no longer exists, omit newer investments, fail to include grandchildren born after it was made. This can lead to confusion and disputes among heirs who feel they were left out or wrongly named. Executors or guardians may no longer be appropriate. Now, this one actually is personal to me too, because recently I had to redo my own will because the person who was the executor had passed on. So you want to make sure that your executors are current, or whoever is going to be guardian to care for dependents are still suitable and don't have a conflict of interest. Without an updated will, the court may need to step in to appoint somebody, which could delay settlement of the will and increase the legal costs. And the last point to consider is tax and legal rules may have changed. Tax laws, probate rules, and estate regulations evolve regularly. An outdated will may miss newer estate planning opportunities, uh, tax rules, tax credits, whatever, or fail to meet current legal standards, resulting potentially in higher taxes, or it could partially invalidate the will. Let's talk about homemade or do-it-yourself wills. Well, there's several problems there. First off, there's a risk they could be declared invalid or partially invalid. Homemade wills often fail to meet the strict legal requirements for signatures, witnesses, or wording. And even if one element is wrong, for example, a witness is also a beneficiary, the entire will or sections of it may be thrown out by the court, leaving the estate to be divided or distributed under the intestacy laws. Actually, recently I had a situation where the the person who had passed on had a homemade will. One of the witnesses had also passed on, so we had a lot of problems confirming that that person actually did witness the will. It created extra time and extra expense for the estate to settle the estate. You could have ambiguous or poorly worded instructions. Non-lawyers frequently use unclear language. For example, I want to leave my savings to my children. Well, that honestly can be interpreted in multiple different ways. It could spark family disputes, legal challenges, and costly delays while lawyers and judges try to interpret what the person in the will actually intended rather than what they wrote. And there's no professional oversight for complex issues. Seniors particularly have unique estate considerations, blended families, second marriages, disabled beneficiaries, or property that might be in multiple different provinces. Um, Second marriages, of course, are something that's very important to factor in when you're doing up your will, because the way you want your will structured in a second marriage is going to be different than the way you want it structured in your first marriage. Do-it-yourself wills rarely address these issues properly, and without legal advice, the results can be unequal distributions, missed tax benefits, or unintended disinheritance of loved ones. So if you have a will, and I hope you do, but if you do and it's not recent or you did it yourself, I'd strongly suggest you get in touch with your lawyer and make sure that your will is currently up to date and reflects your current legal instructions. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. My name is Roy Thomas with Sutton Group Professional Realty in Halifax and halifaxseniorliving.ca. I work with a lot of seniors who are downsizing from their family home, and I also work with a lot of estates. So if you have any questions on any of these things, feel free to reach out. You can reach me directly. at 902-497-3031, or you can go to my website, halifaxseniorliving.ca, and I'll put a lot of the information down below in the show notes. Thanks very much for watching, and please hit subscribe. Thanks very much. Have a great day.